Think about the last time you put something on your fridge. A note, a magnet from a holiday. You pressed it against the door and it held. But inside that fridge magnet and inside the speakers in your phone, or maybe the motor in your electric toothbrush, and even the MRI scanner at your local hospital, is a piece of metal doing something that took humanity thousands of years to understand and only a few decades to deliberately manufacture. How does a piece of metal become magnetic? And why is a block of a right material not yet a magnet until one specific thing happens to it at the very end of the production? The story of how magnets are made is the story of bringing order to the interior of a material, and it is stranger than it looks. Let's get into it right here on Small Things. Potential without effect. At its core, a permanent magnet is a material whose internal structure has been arranged so its magnetic regions all point in the same direction and stay that way. Almost any iron or steel, they do have some magnetic character, but in its natural state, the tiny regions inside point in random directions and cancel each other out. The metal feels inert. It attracts nothing. But you know what? A true magnet is just the same material, but with its interior organized, and the regions that were pointing in conflicting directions have been forced to align. When they do, their individual effects add up, rather than cancel, and the combined force becomes strong enough to act on the world outside of the metal. From a rock to the most powerful magnet on Earth, it did not begin with a factory, it began with a rock. The ancient Greeks found a naturally occurring stone in a region called Magnesia, which is now Western Turkey. Those stones could attract iron without being touched and without an apparent mechanism. They call it magnetite. What they had found was an iron oxide mineral, naturally magnetized over geological time by Earth's own magnetic field. Chinese navigators were putting the same phenomenon to practical use by around the 1st century. They used a floating magnetized iron needle on water to guide direction across open sea. The compass was one of the most consequential tools in human history, making long-distance ocean navigation possible, and it worked entirely on the same alignment principle that today drives the motor inside electric vehicles. By 1600, William Gilbert, physician to Queen Elizabeth I, published a systematic study of magnetic behavior and proposed that the Earth itself was a giant magnet. The idea seemed unusual at the time, but he was correct. The molten iron in the planet's core generates electric currents, and those currents create the magnetic field that has guided navigation, shaped animal migration patterns, and provided the invisible infrastructure for communication technology ever since. Through the 19th century, scientists established the relationship between electricity and magnetism that would change manufacturing permanently. A moving electric charge generates a magnetic field. A changing magnetic field generates an electric current. That relationship, built through decades of careful experimentation, is the theoretical foundation of every motor and every generator ever built, and therefore, of almost every powered device in existence. The modern permanent magnet story changed again in 1982, when researchers in the United States and Japan independently arrived at the same discovery without knowing about each other. Engineers at General Motors in Detroit and at Sumitomo Special Metals in Osaka, working in complete secrecy, they both found that neodymium, iron, and boron, when combined in a precise proportion, can produce a magnet that is far stronger than anything previously manufactured. They only discovered each other when both teams arrived at the same scientific conference in Pittsburgh and found themselves facing each other across the room with identical results in hand. Their competing patterns were cross-licensed. The neodymium magnet entered production and has remained the most powerful type of permanent magnet commercially available, found in electric vehicle motors, wind turbines, hard drive, and speaker drivers in nearly every pair of headphones sold worldwide. the step that changes everything. So how is a neodymium magnet actually made, and when does the metal finally become magnetic? It starts with a raw material. Neodymium is a rare metal, expensive and highly reactive. It oxidizes rapidly in air, which means the entire manufacturing process must be carefully controlled throughout. The neodymium is combined with iron and a small amount of boron in precise proportion, then loaded into a furnace and melted at temperatures above 1,300 degrees Celsius. The molten alloy is poured into a rapidly spinning cooled wheel. The temperature difference causes the liquid metal to solidify in a fraction of a second, producing a thin ribbon with a very fine internal grain structure. The thinner the grain at this stage, the more precisely it can be aligned later. The ribbons are ground into powder, fine enough that each particle contains only one single magnetic domain, a single region with one potential direction of alignment. The powder is poured into a mold and pressed while a powerful magnetic field is applied, forcing every grain to rotate to the same orientation before compression locks them in place. The pressed block is then sintered, heated to around 1,000 degrees Celsius in a controlled atmosphere, causing the grains to fuse into one solid piece while retaining their alignment. The block is cut to final shape with diamond tools, because sintered neodymium alloy is extremely hard and brittle. The cutting must be precise because shaping the finished magnet after magnetization is not practical. But even at this stage, after all of those preparation, the block is not yet a magnet. All the necessary internal structures is present. The grains are aligned. The potential is there. What missing is only the final step. The block is placed inside a copper coil and a massive electric pulse is fired through it, generating a magnetic field far stronger than Earth's. That pulse locks every grain permanently into its aligned orientation. In that instant, the material crosses from potential to actual. The magnet is alive and will remain so in normal conditions for centuries. The material is not enough. The most common assumption about magnets is that strength comes from what they're made of, that some metals are simply magnetic and the manufacturing process mainly involves choosing the right material. That is only part of the story. Alignment is what creates the strain. A block of neodymium, iron, and boron alloy, before its grains are aligned and before magnetization, will attract nothing. Two otherwise identical blocks of the same alloy, one magnetized and one not, looks the same but behave completely differently. The material is necessary. The alignment is what makes it work. A second misconception is that all magnets are essentially the same. Ferrite magnets, made from iron oxide compounds combined with barium or strontium carbonate, are found in fridge magnets, loudspeakers, and many consumer goods. They are far less powerful than neodymium magnets, but handle heat better and cost considerably less. The choice between them is an engineering decision based on application requirements. Neodymium magnets are also genuinely dangerous at larger sizes. Two large ones snapping together can shatter and send fragments at speed. Their attraction at close range is fast enough to trap fingers before the hand can react. In hospitals, the field inside an MRI scanner is powerful enough that steel objects brought into the room are pulled toward the machine with dangerous speed, which is why strict screening procedures exist around MRI equipment everywhere. Inside almost everything. Today, you will find permanent magnets performing essential functions in nearly every powered device in daily use. Inside the smartphone are multiple magnets, in the speaker, in the camera's image stabilization mechanism, and in haptic feedback motor. Inside an electric vehicle, neodymium magnets are the core components of the traction motor, the device that converts electrical energy into the force that drives the wheel. The power and efficiency of that motor are directly determined by the strength of its magnet. Hospital MRI machines use superconducting electromagnet rather than permanent magnets, but they use the same physical principle. Controlled magnetic field alignment is what makes it possible to image soft tissue inside a living body without radiation. The supply of neodymium and other rare earth elements needed for the strongest permanent magnets is heavily concentrated geographically. China controls the majority of world's production and refining capacity, which has made rare earth supply chains a significant concern for industries and governments dependent on electric vehicles, wind turbines, and defense systems. Efforts to develop alternative supply sources and to recycle magnets from end-to-life products are actively areas of industrial and policy attention. The demand for permanent magnets continues to grow, driven by the global electrification of transport and the expansion of renewable energy, both of which depends on motors and generators at their core, and both of which depend on magnets at the core of those motors and generators. Align and pulling in the same direction. So how is a magnet made, and when does the metal actually become magnetic? Not through the material alone, it must through the alignment. Deep inside every permanent magnet, millions of tiny magnetic regions have been forced to face the same direction. Before that happens, they cancel each other out and the metal does nothing. After that happens, their combined force becomes strong enough to hold a note to a door, spin a motor, guide navigation, or produce a detailed image of inside a human body. A magnet is not powerful simply because of what it is made of. It becomes powerful because deep inside, millions of tiny magnetic regions are finally aligned and pulling in the exact same direction. That is the moment metal becomes magnetic, and it happens in an instant. If this changed the way you think about the metal hidden inside the devices around you, let us know in the comments and tell us what you want us to look at next. We might make it in our next episode. Thanks for watching. History often hides in the smallest details.